Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and I thank our witnesses. And I think it's an interesting conversation because although I'm a physician, in my job prior to Congress, I was started out volunteering in a mental health facility, in nursing homes, then became a student nurse, and then a nurse, and then a physician. So I've had this spectrum, if you will, which interesting that Representative Takano would mention stackable degrees or education that builds upon itself. And throughout that, I've certainly seen healthcare change and also home care. And one of the concerns I have, and I think, Mr. Brani, this goes to your point, is one of the key problems in our workforce development system is that we place too much focus on jobs of the past as opposed to the labor market of the future. And I think we in government trying to determine what the jobs of the future are, we're woefully inadequate in doing so. For instance, one of the things the pandemic has showed us as it is slower for people to come back into nursing homes after the events that had happened, especially in places like New York and New Jersey and Michigan, so that there may be a shift in the future from, even though there was already a shift towards care at home, it may be more of a push for care at home rather than in a residential care facility. And at the same point in time, we're seeing an explosion of technology. And so we now have technology that can do blood pressure monitoring at home. I'm an ophthalmologist, so eye pressure, glaucoma pressure checking at home. We can do EKGs at home. You can monitor and use technology to monitor medication boxes if you've set up the medication when a patient has removed a medication or an individual has removed medication from their medication box and whether they've taken it or not. At the University of Iowa, in our aging centers, looking at determining falls. So there's a variety, I think, of, I won't necessarily call it artificial intelligence, but it is in some ways artificial intelligence that's used to help us monitor people without someone physically being there. So to that end, Mr. Brani, what role does Udacity play in preparing people for tomorrow's workforce, which I think is, as you've indicated, going to integrate AI and other methods of technology?
That's a great question, Congresswoman. Thank you. So I think it starts with understanding, being able to contextualize the industry. So you could look at the long-term growth of an occupation like a health information specialist. They're going to add about 30,000 jobs by 2029, and that's valuable context for the direction of the industry. Earlier, we heard that it is the fastest growing industry. Consider on a shorter term basis that by 2024, more than 1 in 3 new jobs will be in the healthcare industry. Today, that's 2.3 million open jobs, and the top occupations are registered nurse or a personal care aide. You're looking for skills like nursing, CPR, even records management. But I think what we need to do is look at the occupations within healthcare. So if you were to take an occupation code like computer and mathematical, that subset, it's about 50,000 open jobs, but the median salary is about 50% higher. A third of these jobs don't even require a bachelor's degree. And so what kind of titles are we talking about? Business intelligence analyst within healthcare, clinical informatics specialist, and they want computer science. They want programming languages like SQL or Python. They want agile methodology and some of these sort of project management skill sets. So whether it's AI or some other technology that's being applied to the healthcare industry, what we're really trying to do is just solve analog problems from the non-digital world, like physician shortage and the burnout associated with that. All of the data that's been collected for eons in this industry through a clipboard and a ballpoint pen. If we can manage these things at scale through telemedicine, through data science and machine learning, we can get better at removing outliers from our diagnoses. We can get better at trend spotting so that if there's another pandemic around the corner, maybe we spot it a bit sooner. It's very abstract and certainly warrants a longer conversation, but hopefully that helps to answer your question.
Yeah, I agree. It absolutely does warrant a longer conversation. Would love to talk with you more about the data acquisition, the amount of data out, how that goes into population health and public health. But my time has run out, so perhaps in another conversation we could continue this. Thank you so much, and thank you, Madam Chair.